the book 33 Days to Merciful Love by Father Michael Gaitley. If you are new to my channel, thank you for watching. My name is Jude, and this week we will look at Saint Therese of Liseux's teaching on trust, also known as the Little Way. So who was Saint Therese of Liseux? She was a young Carmelite cloistered nun who was one of the Church's greatest examples of faith that hopes against hope. It was Saint Pius X who called her the greatest saint of modern times, and in 1997 she became one of the 33 doctors of the Church. But did you know Saint Therese's battle with anxiety and loneliness? She suffered from feelings of insecurity and worthlessness. It wasn't until a Christmas conversion at the age of 14 that she would be healed with God's grace. Therese's greatest desire was to be a saint, a great saint. We read on page 51 of Father Gaitley's book about this joyful revelation. She writes, "I have always wanted to be a saint. Alas! I have always noticed that when I compared myself to the saints, there is between them and me the same difference that exists between a mountain whose summit is lost in the clouds and the obscure grain of sand trampled underfoot by passers-by. Instead of becoming discouraged, I said to myself, God cannot inspire unreasonable desires." So with this desire to find that path, Saint Therese finds these words of wisdom. "Whoever is a little one, let him come to me." She realized that when we recognize our poverty, weakness, brokenness, and sin, it then provides a way to achieve the heights of holiness. By Therese discovering this path, she discovered the very heart of the gospel, which is divine mercy. I love Therese's prayer, "Oh my God, you surpassed all my expectations. I want to sing of your mercies." Father Gaitley points out that mercy involves two things, the heart and the arms. It's God being moved to compassion at seeing our suffering, the heart, and then taking action to help alleviate it, the arms. We hear the passage at the end of Saint Therese's autobiography. "I have only to cast a glance in the Gospels, and immediately I breathe in the perfume of Jesus' life, and I know on which side to run. I don't hasten to the first place, but to the last. Rather advance like the Pharisee, I repeat, filled with confidence, the publican's humble prayer. Most of all, I imitate Magdalene, her astonishing, or rather her loving audacity, which charms the heart of Jesus, also attracts my own." So what are the steps we can take to follow Saint Therese on that little way to divine mercy? Number 1, recognize the darkness of weakness, brokenness, and sin. Number 2, keep trying to grow in holiness and do little things with great love. Number 3, keep trusting and believing that God will satisfy our desires for holiness even when we don't fully comprehend how. So why are we consecrating ourselves to divine mercy, and why is it so important? Father Gaitley writes on page 62, "It's important because when we see that our consecration preparation is part of a gift from on high for our time, it carries more weight. It helps us appreciate that by consecrating ourselves to divine mercy, we're letting ourselves be carried into a greater work of the Spirit that's going on right now in our day." In other words, it is faith, it is trust that unleashes the power of divine mercy. We'll close this week's retreat with a beautiful letter Saint Therese wrote to one of her Carmelite sisters. To love Jesus, to be his victim of love, the weaker one is without desires or virtues, the more suited one is for the workings of this consuming and transforming love. Wow, what beautiful words. It's no wonder why Saint Therese is one of our doctors of the church. Thanks so much for joining me today, and remember to join me next week as we continue our consecration preparation to Divine Mercy. I will link 33 Days to Merciful Love by Father Michael Gaitley in the description box below, so you can obtain a copy for your spiritual library. So until next time, my friends, peace and